The start of a new year isn't just a date on the calendar. It's an open doorway, a threshold between who you were and who you could become. Yet, true transformation doesn't come from sudden revolutions. It's born from small, deliberate acts, repeated with faith. The Stoics knew this long before us. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus taught that greatness isn't built overnight, but brick by brick, habit by habit. This video is not about changing your life in a day. It's about shaping your soul, one calm, powerful action at a time. Most of us begin each year heavy, burdened by anxiety, unfinished goals, and the silent voice whispering, "You're not enough." We chase massive change, hoping for instant freedom. But the Stoics remind us, the path to peace is not in chasing more, but in mastering less. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to your truest self, to strip away the noise and rediscover the strength that was always within you. Thousands of years ago, the Stoics faced wars, loss, exile, and chaos. Yet they built a philosophy that taught them how to stand firm while the world burned. Marcus Aurelius led an empire but wrote about humility. Seneca had wealth but warned against greed. Epictetus was a slave who taught freedom of the mind. Their wisdom still whispers to us today. Control what you can, accept what you can't, and find serenity in between. In this video, we will explore 10 Stoic habits that can help you reinvent yourself, not in theory, but in practice. These are the habits that will quiet your mind, sharpen your focus, and strengthen your spirit. Because self-reinvention is not an event, it's a process, a sacred discipline, a daily decision to rise above who you were yesterday. If you follow these steps with patience and purpose, 2025 won't just be another year. It will be your transformation. Principle 1. Start small, achieve big. When people dream of change, they imagine revolutions, a new job, a new city, a new version of themselves. But the Stoics knew, greatness grows in increments, not explosions. Marcus Aurelius said, "You must build up your life, action by action." Real transformation doesn't happen in a single heroic leap. It begins with one small, consistent step, the kind that feels almost invisible, but compounds into power. Like drops of water shaping stone, daily habits carve out destiny. You don't need to move mountains. You just need to move, today. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, be content if each action achieves its goal as far as possible. The Stoics never glorified perfection, they honored progress. Each small act is a victory against chaos, a vote for who you wish to become. Even Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live." That means stop waiting for the right day, the right motivation, the perfect conditions. The moment you take one meaningful step, you've already changed your trajectory. Progress, not perfection, is the Stoic way. A man once wished to change his life entirely. He quit his job, moved cities, and promised to start over. Yet months later, he felt the same, because he had changed everything but himself. Contrast that with Epictetus, born a slave, who transformed his fate not by revolution, but by repetition, by mastering his thoughts one at a time. Small acts of self-control turned bondage into freedom. Like a tree watered daily, he grew strong not from grand gestures, but quiet discipline. The lesson: don't seek a new world. Build a new you, one steady habit at a time. Start small today. Don't vow to change your life. Change your next 5 minutes. Drink water. Take a walk. Write one line of gratitude. Read one page. These small victories build momentum, self-trust, and strength. The Stoics teach that each day is a life in itself, so live it as if it matters. Because it does. Over time, your small habits become the architecture of your destiny. The first brick is the hardest, but once it's laid, the temple of your better self begins to rise. Principle 2. Master your anxiety before it masters you. Anxiety, the storm within. It grows from thoughts of tomorrow, from what might happen, from things beyond your reach. The Stoics faced this same tempest and left behind a compass. Focus on what you can control. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." You can't silence the storm, but you can steady your mind. The goal isn't to escape uncertainty. It's to learn how to walk calmly through it. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote this as emperor of the most powerful empire on earth, and yet he still faced fear, loss, and uncertainty. His peace did not come from control of nations, but from mastery of self. The Stoics remind us, anxiety loses its grip when we return to the present moment. In this breath, in this heartbeat, right now, you are safe. A young philosopher once feared speaking before the crowd. His thoughts raced. What if I forget? What if they laugh? Epictetus told him, what if they do? Does that change who you are? The man spoke. His voice trembled, but his courage grew. The fear did not vanish. He simply moved through it. That is Stoic courage, not the absence of anxiety, but the choice to act despite it. Like a sailor learning to steer through storms, he discovered calm by facing the wind, not fleeing it. When anxiety visits, pause. Breathe. Write down your fears, one by one, and beside each, write one small action you can take. This transforms fear into focus. The Stoics knew, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The next time your mind races, remind yourself, I don't need to control everything. I just need to control my response. When you master that, no storm can shake you. Peace is not found in quiet seas, but in the captain who stands unshaken at the helm. Principle 3. Design a routine that works for you. Life can feel like chaos, unpredictable, loud, relentless. But structure gives you freedom. The Stoics understood that a disciplined life is not about control, it's about clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. And that begins with how you live each day. A routine is not a cage, it's a compass. When your days have rhythm and intention, distractions lose their power, and peace finds you in the stillness between actions. Marcus Aurelius began each day with reflection. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. The Stoics saw the morning as sacred, the moment to align mind and body before the world's noise begins. Routine is how we honor time, by using it with intention. You don't need a perfect schedule, you need a meaningful one that serves your values, not your vanity. A craftsman once struggled with endless distractions. His workshop was cluttered, his days without order. One morning, he began simply, cleaning his table, sharpening his tools, setting one clear task before him. The result? Masterpieces born from rhythm. The Stoics believed order in the outer world brings peace to the inner one. Like a well-tuned instrument, your routine should harmonize with your energy, not fight against it. Each day becomes a deliberate act of creation, an art form of the soul. Tonight, take 5 minutes to plan tomorrow. Write down 3 priorities that align with who you wish to become. This simple act quiets the mind and prepares the soul. Your routine is your silent ally. It guides you when motivation fades. And when chaos comes, it becomes your anchor. The Stoic life is not busy, it's balanced. Discipline, not rigidity. Presence, not pressure. Each morning is a new chance to choose structure over noise and purpose over drift. Principle 4. Break bad habits. Reclaim your freedom. Bad habits don't announce themselves. They creep in, quietly, repeatedly, until they own us. The Stoics believed true freedom begins with self-mastery. Seneca warned, no man is free who is not master of himself. Every time you give in to distraction, to comfort, to impulse, you trade a piece of your sovereignty. Breaking bad habits isn't punishment. It's liberation. It's reclaiming your power from what enslaves you. Seneca's voice echoes through time. No man is free who is not master of himself. To the Stoics, mastery was not about suppressing desire. It was about directing it. The goal is not to destroy pleasure, but to choose it wisely. Every act of discipline is an act of freedom. Every temptation resisted is a muscle of the soul strengthened. You cannot lead your life if you are led by your habits. A man spent hours scrolling endlessly through his phone. He told himself it was harmless until his days felt empty. One evening, he placed the phone away and picked up a journal instead. That night, he wrote the first honest page of his life. The next day, he read. The next week, he began to change. Bad habits are weeds. Remove one and plant something better. Over time, your garden of mind flourishes. The Stoics taught not self-denial, but self-direction. The freedom you crave begins where mindless habit ends. Identify one habit that chains you: procrastination, overthinking, distraction, and name it. Write its trigger and replace it with one small action. When you slip, forgive yourself and begin again. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you stumble, rise." Self-mastery is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Each time you choose awareness over impulse, you reclaim another piece of your freedom. In this quiet rebellion, you become your own liberator. Principle 5. Make time for what truly matters. In a world of endless noise, we mistake movement for meaning. The Stoics warned us, time is not short, it's wasted. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Every hour lost to distraction is a fragment of life we'll never regain. The wise live as if every sunrise were their last, not in panic, but in presence. What matters most isn't found in the rush, but in the stillness where purpose breathes. Seneca reminds us that time is the only true wealth, and yet it is the currency we spend most carelessly. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Memento mori, remember that you will die, isn't morbid, it's liberating. When you remember how fragile life is, you stop wasting it. You stop chasing everything and begin cherishing something. There was a scholar who longed to write a book that could change lives. But every night, he said, "I'll start tomorrow." Weeks turned to months, months to years, until he realized he'd been waiting for a perfect time that never came. One evening, he sat under a single candle and wrote his first page. That book became his legacy. The Stoics teach us, we are not promised more time, only this moment. So do not delay your becoming. Begin where you stand. Conduct a time audit of your life. What consumes your days that gives you nothing in return? Cut it. Protect the sacred hours that build your soul, your learning, your loved ones, your rest. Time is not a resource to spend, it's a life to live. The Stoics remind us, he who gives his time to what matters lives twice. So when the day ends, ask yourself, did I live or just exist? The answer shapes not just your day, but your destiny. Principle 6. Take on challenges that shape you. Growth never blooms in comfort. The Stoics saw adversity not as punishment, but as training. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show a person who they are." Every challenge is a mirror. It reflects your strength, your patience, your courage. You don't grow by avoiding the storm. You grow by standing in the rain. Every obstacle is an invitation. Will you shrink from it or rise through it? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoics believe that obstacles are not barriers, they are pathways. What blocks your progress today will become your teacher tomorrow. The pain you endure now becomes the wisdom you stand on later. So, do not curse the mountain before you. Thank it, for without it, you would never climb. A young soldier once feared his first battle. His mentor told him, "Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it." When the day came, he trembled, but he fought, not to win, but to learn he could. Years later, he became a leader, not because he was fearless, but because he had faced his fear. The Stoics knew that adversity refines the soul like fire refines gold. You cannot harden steel without the flame. Write down one challenge you've been avoiding, a conversation, a project, a fear. Then break it into smaller steps and take one today. Remember, you don't have to be unafraid to act, only willing. Seneca said, "The bravest sight is to see a man who struggles against adversity." Let your courage be seen, not in victory, but in effort. The world doesn't need a perfect you. It needs a resilient you. Principle 7. Surround yourself with people who elevate you. Your environment shapes your destiny. The Stoics knew that the people you walk with determine how far you'll go. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." The company you keep feeds your mind or poisons it. Walk with those who challenge you to rise, who speak truth, not flattery, who remind you of your higher nature when you forget. You become the sum of the voices you allow near your soul. Seneca wrote, "Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." Friendship in Stoicism isn't about convenience. It's about elevation. True companions mirror your virtues, not your vices. They hold you accountable, remind you of your discipline when you falter, and celebrate your growth, not your comfort. The Stoic circle is built on truth, not ego. Iron sharpens iron, soul refines soul. A young athlete trained among the lazy, and he became like them, slow, distracted, content with little. Then one day he found a mentor who demanded more, who saw his potential and refused to let him settle. In time, the boy became a champion. The Stoics understood, we rise to the standard of those around us. Choose company that challenges your comfort and calls forth your greatness. Surround yourself with those who remind you not of who you are, but of who you could become. Look around you. Who uplifts you and who drains you? Keep the first close and release the second with peace. Be the kind of person you seek, loyal, curious, disciplined, kind. Offer wisdom as you receive it. The Stoic life is not a solo path, it's a shared ascent. Together, we rise higher than we ever could alone. Principle 8. Embrace change as a catalyst for growth. Change terrifies us because it reminds us we're not in control. But the Stoics saw it differently. Change is not the enemy. It's nature itself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change. The seasons shift, the river flows, the stars move, and so must we. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance creates strength. To resist change is to resist life." Epictetus taught, "The flourishing life cannot be achieved until we see things as they are, not as we wish them to be." To accept reality doesn't mean surrender. It means alignment. The Stoic sees change and says, this too is the way. What ends makes room for what begins. Every closed door opens another unseen path. The universe does not take, it transforms. A woman lost her job and thought her world had collapsed. Yet in that stillness, she began to paint again, something she hadn't done in years. Within a year, her art became her livelihood. Change had not destroyed her life. It had returned her to it. The Stoics believe that every ending carries a hidden gift. Sometimes, losing your way is how you find your truth. What you see as ruin is often renewal in disguise. Think of one change that frightens you right now. Then ask, what is this trying to teach me? Reframe fear as curiosity. Every transformation begins in discomfort. Seneca said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Don't cling to the ashes of what was. Lift your gaze to what can be. Change isn't chaos. It's the universe rearranging itself for your growth. Principle 9. Learn the power of saying no. In a world that worships yes, saying no becomes an act of rebellion. The Stoics understood this well. Every yes you give to something meaningless is a no to your own growth. Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish. Saying no isn't selfish, it's sacred. It's how you protect your time, your mind, your purpose. Freedom begins when you no longer live by everyone else's demands. Epictetus reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Saying no is an act of that power. You can't control what others expect, only what you allow. The Stoics valued restraint as strength. To decline an invitation, a distraction, or a temptation is to rise above impulse. Every boundary you draw is a wall that guards your peace. Each no is a quiet affirmation of what truly matters. A young artist was loved for her talent, but overwhelmed by constant requests, new projects, collaborations, favors. She said yes to all and lost herself. Then one morning, she whispered her first no. It hurt, but soon, That no gave her time to create again, to breathe, to live. Her art returned richer, purer, freer. The Stoics knew to say no is not to reject the world, but to reclaim yourself from it. A well-placed no can save an entire life. This week, practice the discipline of no. Before you say yes, ask, does this align with my values? Does it serve my growth? If not, release it with grace. You owe nothing to noise. You owe everything to your purpose. Seneca wrote, life is long if you know how to use it. Use it wisely. Because every yes drains your time, but every no buys it back. Principle 10, bounce back stronger every time. Life will knock you down. That's not a possibility. It's a promise. The Stoics didn't seek to avoid pain. They sought to rise from it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Failure is not your enemy. It's your teacher. Every fall contains a lesson. Every wound hides wisdom. To live stoically is not to never fall, but to never stay down. Seneca said, time heals what reason cannot. The Stoics accepted pain as part of the process. Wounds need not be hidden. They are proof of life. Each scar is a page in your book of strength. The Stoics believed resilience is not born in comfort, but in the quiet decision to rise again. The bravest act is not surviving once, but choosing to stand up every single time you fall. A merchant once lost everything in a fire: his home, his business, his wealth. For days he sat in silence. Then one morning, he said to himself, I will begin again. Years later, he rebuilt stronger, wiser, freer. When asked what he learned, he replied, that I am not what I lost. The Stoics would nod in approval, because resilience isn't rebuilding what was destroyed. It's becoming someone who no longer fears loss. The next time you fall, pause and whisper, this is not my end. It's my rebirth. Write 3 lessons from the setback and 1 action you'll take to move forward. Growth is forged in repetition. Rise, learn, rise again. The Stoics knew strength isn't given, it's earned. Every obstacle is the forge that shapes your soul. Every comeback is proof that you are unbreakable. Change does not arrive with thunder. It arrives quietly, through the habits you repeat. The Stoics taught us that transformation is not an event, but a practice. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction, calm over chaos, action over apathy, you reinvent yourself. The happiness of your life, Marcus Aurelius said, depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Guard them. Feed them. Let them become the foundation of the person you're becoming. You've learned the habits. To start small, master anxiety, build routines, break what binds you, and rise through what tests you. Each principle is a piece of armor for the soul, forged in the fire of wisdom, worn with grace. Life will not stop being hard, but you will stop being helpless. That is the Stoic way, not to escape storms, but to walk through them with steady breath and open eyes. Now it's your turn. Pick 1 habit from this journey, just 1, and begin today. Write it down. Practice it for 7 days. Notice how it changes not your world, but your perspective of it. As Seneca said, while we wait for life, life passes. Stop waiting. Start living. Your reinvention is not waiting in the future. It's hidden in the next choice you make. So as you walk into tomorrow, carry this truth. You are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you rise after it. Live with calm. Act with courage. Think with clarity. This is your rebirth, 1 decision at a time. You are not waiting for a new year to begin. You are the new beginning. This is Stoic Miracles, reminding you, stay grounded, stay brave, and live with intention.